All right, what I'm going to show you is how to laminate super fat so you get a thicker screen that you're after. Here's an example of a super fat print. Now, in order to get this thickness, obviously, if you've got your stencils too thin, you're going to have to maybe double the thickness. Like put one piece of super fat film on top of another one. Say you have a 200 micron. Most people aren't going to have a lot of different thicknesses of super fat, but say you got 200 micron super fat film, but it's not thick enough for you for this one job coming up. You got to have it like double the thickness. So how do you do that with just super fat 200? Well, easiest way is to laminate it. However, if you don't laminate it the correct way, it can be very difficult to do. Hopefully I can show you an easy way to get it done. First of all, you got to start with a good clean screen, good tension, nice and tight, and you got to work under yellow light conditions or very subdued lighting. You don't want to expose this film at all until you are ready to expose it. So first step is I'm going to coat the screen with a direct emulsion. In this case, I'm using Chromaline. And I'm going to put a coat on both sides of the screen. Then I'm going to laminate the film to the screen. This is my favorite way to do it. There are other ways. I think this is the best way. Here's my super fat 200. Remember, and it's easy to miss. Make sure you get the slip sheet taken off. You don't need that this time. So we'll just put that over to the side, get it out of the way. And then I'm going to apply it to this screen. Now, let me just set this aside for a second, because the next step is important. You turn the screen around on the blade, just like this. And then I'm going to go over here. And I'm going to touch the film to the screen, just like this. And in one smooth motion, I draw it up. Just like that. It is now applied to the screen. And you'd let it dry. Here we go. Put it in the drying cabinet. 2 or 3 hours, that should be plenty dry. Pull the polyester carrier off. Okay, I've now removed the polyester carrier. The next step, and this is important, again, your screen has got to be tight. You take another piece of 200 super fat and remove the slip sheet. Because if you don't, you're going to have problems. So I just remove that, set that off to the side. Okay, this is where it gets a little tricky, but believe me, it works. I've got a roller that I use. You can use almost any straight edge, but I like using a roller. What I do is I put the roller on, just like that. And I take the film, and make sure you got the emulsion side facing the screen. Just roll that off to the side, just like that. See, all I need is a little bit of water on here. Pour it on. And then with the roller, I just roll it right on. That's all there is to it. And the water is re-softening the emulsion of the super fat, and it's going to stick to itself. So now I have just made this 200 micron, 400 micron. Now I just dry this again. Again, it's going to take a couple hours for it to dry, if you got a good dryer. It's probably not a bad idea to make the first layer in the morning and the second layer in the afternoon. Let's say you're used to using 200 micron, and whatever that exposure was, remember, you've now doubled that thickness. You have to double your exposure. Don't forget to do that. If you underexpose this, it's not going to work. It's just like anything. You underexpose too much, the thing's going to fall off the screen. But this is the way to make super fat the thicknesses you need. Remember, I started out with a 200 micron super fat film. I layered another 200 on top of that, so I got a 400 micron. Now, if I wanted another thickness, I'd add another 200, and then it's 600, and so forth. It keeps on going. But remember, every time you make it thicker, the exposure is longer. Okay, after you're done printing, with your super fat. Next step, obviously, is to remove that stencil. So the best way to do it is, number one, wear gloves. And you only put reclaimer on the squeegee side of the screen. Now remember, this is a really thick stencil. So we let this set a little bit, and you'll see what happens here. Now this process I'm doing, you would do this no matter what thickness you are using. If you're laminating 2 thicknesses or 3 thicknesses or just the one stencil thickness at all. So this was start out 200, I laminated another 200, so it's 400 micron. And you just let it sit on this squeegee side. Now you can see it's dissolving pretty good now. What I want to do is remove the direct emulsion I put on this screen first. So let this sit a little bit. And let me see what we're doing here now. So what's going to happen is once it gets loose, I'm going to be able to peel this right off. It might take a little while, but it's going to happen. There, look at this. I'm actually peeling the super fat off. This isn't going to go down the drain. You throw this in the garbage can. There, throw this away. If you don't, that's going to end up in your drain and it's going to plug. So now the super fat is basically, after a couple spots where the super fat's still on there. See this, there. Now all you do is a pressure washer it off and away you go. You're done.